So it's no news that American politics is one of the biggest mind fucks that exists. And now that I've left it for pretty much a year now, I can comfortably say I don't fucking regret it. Fuck American politics. So there's two main reasons that I kind of want to go over, which is obviously the mental health, right? The mind fucking, the everything, the distraction, the emotion, everything associated with having these opinions and constantly going online and trying to, argue with people and read about politics and shit. The second reason is controversial, to say the least. It's because nothing's going to change in this country. That is the second reason why I'm out of it. And I think that kind of ties in hand with the mental health thing, because you have this belief that you think is 100% correct. And if everybody just listened to you, that you would, the world would improve, right? And nobody listens to you and the world doesn't improve. So you're like, what the fuck? Like nothing's happening. There's no wins. There's no losses. And I can only speak on behalf of American politics because that's what I know. I'm in America. That's all I've ever really been engaged with. I know a little bit about like Canadian politics and some European politics here and there, but I'm not like engaged in it. That's not my community. That's not my audience. So I can't speak on it. I'm mainly just talking about American politics here. So the mental health thing, you know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about politics. It's not just having an opinion. It's going online and arguing on Instagram for hours and, sparking these debates with people and talking about it and getting insults and getting labeled as this versus that and people misrepresenting your views. And it's just it never ends. Like you don't get to a place in politics unless you're where I am, where you set your opinions and you kind of just walked away from it because it's bullshit to try to stay in it and expect something to change. You're not going to be happy with politics ever. It's just going to keep fucking you. Unless you decide that you're going to go all in on politics, like this is my life now, I'm going to try to bring awareness to this message, and you have a clear goal, there's no point in really being in it. I mean, you can have your opinions, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying to not vote or whatever, but I think that shit's a waste of time, dude, because nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to happen. You're just going to fuck your mental health, and you're going to kind of ruin your life for basically no reason. I mean, look at these people that are engaged in politics all day. Think about the stereotypes, the old fucking conservative who watches Fox News, or the liberal who constantly looks at the Palestine death toll and argues with people on Instagram. I mean, there's the duality. None of these people are happy. None of these people, achieve anything in politics. They just look like idiots because they are. Like, I'm sorry. I was a liberal when I was really young because conditioned by my parents and teachers, all that shit. And then I remember when Trump got elected in 2016, I was still a liberal, and I think I was in middle school. I was in 8th grade, and I was very upset. I was like, oh no, the end of the world. Trump got elected, and then literally nothing changed. And over the next 2 years, I think by 2018, I was hardcore conservative. I flip-flopped hard when I got into high school. And then eventually I kind of evened out to a libertarian standpoint. I follow people like Ron Paul and John Stossel and Thomas Massie, probably one of the only congressmen that actually doesn't deserve to be executed. No offense. But I really like the George Carlin take of the owners of this country, right? Look it up. Look up George Carlin, owners of this country. It's a comedy bit. He's a comedian, but he's spitting fucking facts, okay? Because all these people in Congress, if you understand lobbying and government corruption and everything that goes on with insider trading in Congress, you lose faith pretty quickly in the political system. And you realize that this two-party system is literally rigged against success in this country. And for me to participate in that, to say that I'm right-wing or to say that I'm left-wing, to pick a side is just really fucking stupid. I mean, okay, I'm 21. I realized this shit about a year ago, and it was a very hard pill to swallow, right? You can imagine realizing that your efforts have been in vain. And I would say probably the worst part, and the reason that I took a step back from politics, I no longer really care about people's political opinions. I just don't really like to talk about politics. People will talk about something that I agree with, and I'm just like, stop. I don't want to sit here and agree with you and we fucking jerk each other off with our agreements of political opinions. I don't want to do that. And I also don't want to sit here and fucking debate some liberal, like, because I disagree with his opinions that I need to voice that for some reason. Like, I don't give a shit. Okay, you believe what you believe, and you believe that that is right. So I don't think you're a bad person because you believe this or that. Like, I just don't really care. There's a few things like transgender kids. There's some things that I really stay firm on, and I'm like, no, we're not doing that. And if you agree with this, like, you're fucking evil. Obviously, there's things here and there. Maybe that's, social conditioning because I believe that certain things just are unacceptable. But I have my opinions, and I just don't let them own me. I don't sit there and argue with people or disrespect you because you have this opinion. And the way people shove their opinions down your throat is really fucking annoying. And there's so much of that in the modern day that I used to get really pissed about it. Like, I'd hear somebody like throw a jab, like some, big content creator, supposed to be apolitical, and they throw out some left-wing views here and there. And I'm just watching them like, yeah, what the fuck? Like, getting pissed off kind of. No, I don't care, whatever. Like, I just kind of detached my emotions from what's going on in this country, from politics in general, because it's just a waste. Like, I think, not that I think, I know that everybody that's super engaged in politics should take a step back, because the worst part is the division, right? When you start arguing and you become so invested in this opinion, then you get tunnel vision on politics and it becomes your whole life. It's like, what the fuck? Are you really, like, fucking cavemen didn't have politics. I vote fire stay. I vote fucking rock sharp, no sharp. Like, that's like the extent of their democracy. It was nothing crazy. Like now we're arguing over abortion, and then you also have to argue over, I don't know, healthcare, and then you have to argue over foreign policy. And there's just all this shit that, like, nothing you do is going to change any of it, and it really doesn't fucking matter. At the end of the day, what would change this country is just not going to happen. Like, what I think, okay, you cut basically most government programs, and you cut, I would say, fire everybody that's in Congress, right? Fuck them all. If you focus on the debt and you focus on the economy and you stop wasting money, even military spending is too much. Obviously, I agree with all this shit. Cut it all. Not 100%, but and this shit would get you labeled as an extremist. It's like, it's the only thing that'll fucking work, and it's never going to get implemented, right? You'd have to run as a third party, and third party gets what, like 1-2% of the vote. Nothing's going to change. You have to have mainstream, you have to lie to get elected, and then you have to keep lying to stay elected. And you have to have lobbyists. You have to be corrupt, or else you're not going to get elected. That's why the system's rigged. When I say rigged, I mean corrupt. I don't mean like the Russians, or I don't mean like the ballot cheating. I just mean no matter who you vote for, you're fucked. It doesn't matter who wins, honestly. So take a step back. I mean, you research politics, like, read books about it, but don't get like engaged. Don't engaged. Don't follow these people like you follow the Daily Wire and you see all these things they're saying, and it's outrage porn, man. It's just trying to get you riled up, okay? And if you're a liberal, I don't know what the fuck you guys watch. CNN and every form of mainstream media. Everybody in the fucking public stage is liberal, so the outrage porn there is pretty obvious to spot out. But all of it, take a step back. Read books, read like End the Fed by Ron Paul. Read, books that actually educate you, that you can form your own opinion about. But don't argue about this shit. Don't spend time on Instagram and bitch, Do your research, vote, fuck everybody else. Don't let the internet like fuck your mental health when it comes to politics, is kind of what I'm trying to say here.